morning, and welcome to Adjust Your Shorts. It's time to hike them up, because you're about to get kicked in the dick. My name is Ray Stone, and as always, this is the news. Today is Thursday, April 17th. You can see the time is, what time it is it? And that's all you need to know about that, okay? So 2025, we're already a quarter of the way through the year. And that's insane. Actually, a third of the way through the year almost now, which is just absolutely insane to me. It's so crazy how fast this stuff goes. Woke up with a new joke premise, so we'll start with that. Went skydiving with Melody, the lovely Melody, for her birthday on back in February. And did you notice how I just struggled to come up with the date? It's the 10th. I know. God. And I thought it was funny. So when I'm walking in public and I'm walking next to a stranger and I realize that we're walking like lockstep the same pace and our feet are moving at the same pace, I will like change it to where so it doesn't look like we're walking exactly the same because it's uncomfortable. Now picture that, but you got a guy strapped to your back and you're breathing and he's breathing. And then you're like, and I'll like change my breathing to be like, don't breathe like me, man. Don't breathe like me. Right. I think that's funny. I'm going to tell you, I'm really nervous. We're heading to Austin this weekend. This will be the last recording before hopefully I get on Kill Tony. I'm going to sign up. I hope I get called. The chances are low, but I've been practicing my Kill Tony set. And I think I've got a good minute, so man, I hope I get up. Anyway, let's get into the news. We're going to start with the good news because that's just cool. On this day in history, April 17th, 61 years ago, Americans got their first glimpse of Ford's new Mustang. The Mustang came out 61 years ago. Pretty cool. Latest articles in the good news. No alcohol, no cover, no judging inside Mexico City's free dance parties. I mean, can you even dance without alcohol? I don't know. I can't do it. I don't think I like music that much. Or maybe I make music, so I judge other people's. Here's another one. Teens developed an app that identifies mouth cancer, making early diagnosis easy and winning $50,000 for their school. Is that all mouth cancer is worth? $50,000 once off? I think it should be a lot higher than that. Britain's youngest Elvis impersonator invited to perform at Graceland on the anniversary of his death. Real cool. A zoo camera captures elephants protecting their young during a San Diego earthquake. Why are we surprised by elephants protecting their young anymore? Elephants are like awesome. They're super smart. Philadelphia police officers set aside fears of heights to rescue child from a roof. What is this child doing on the roof? Okay, let's get past all that. The child doesn't seem to be fazed about the 28 to 30 foot drop awaiting him. I knew I had to get him off the roof. Okay, so it wasn't like a child suicide. You know what? Great. Moving on. Here's my briefing. Here's what the Google News, when I search it, thinks I need to know or thinks I want to know. First of all, it's 59 degrees in Cave Creek, which is nice and cool. I'm going to be working outside today, and it's only supposed to be 73. I'll take it. Just more proof that we don't know what the hell's going on with the weather. Okay, IRS could take away Harvard's tax-exempt status. I mean, this just makes me so mad that the United States gives Harvard $2 billion. I said this on Tuesday. I'm going to say it again today. If you are an Ivy League school and you are a private school and I can't fucking go there without jumping through a ton of hoops, you don't get my tax money to do anything with your school. This is so crazy to me that we fund Harvard. Talk about spending that I don't believe in. Fuck that. Let's see. It wants to say that a developer sold a North Scottsdale luxury property for record cash. All right. So Our houses are worth less, but if you can afford to make them worth more, you can sell them for more. New York Times, IRS is said to be considering whether to revoke Harvard. Oh, okay, that's the Harvard thing. Les Miserables, wife of mistakenly. You know what? I don't think Google knows me very well. Or maybe it does. Let's move on into it. Okay, here we go. This was something that I thought was interesting. Okay, it came across my TikTok feed. Now, TikTok is full of lies, but every once in a while, it peppers in something that none of the news outlets are talking about, that if you learn about it, you might want to go, oh my God, I want to hear more about this. Senator John Kennedy, which I don't know if he's related, but he broke down the federal spending into understandable terms. Because when you think of trillions of dollars, it's just crazy. Like, it's hard to wrap your brain around 1,000 billion, which is 1,000 million, which is 1,000,000. And what it came down to is they spend $1 trillion every 100 days, which is only if the budget is actually 3 trillion, right? Or 3.6 trillion or whatever, 3.3 trillion, 3.2 trillion. I thought that the budget was bigger than that. I thought our budget was 6 trillion, and then we have a 1 trillion deficit, which is going to leave us 7 trillion that we need to make. But I guess I'm not right on that. But let's play it at this. If it's 100 trillion every 100 days, it's 10 billion a day, which is $417 million an hour, and it boils down to $6.9 million per minute that the United States federal government spends of the money that we give to them. Did you know that if you don't know this, the income tax wasn't always there? I'm going to get the wars wrong and the dates wrong and the terminology wrong, but the gist of it is the very first time they taxed the people was to pay for our involvement in World War I, if I'm not mistaken. And what they did was they taxed the richest, and they taxed them 99%, because the richest can live off of 1% of what they've made. And that paid for the war effort. Well, of course, the rich didn't like that, so they got involved in government. So by the time, after World War I, they did away with it, of course, because the rich aren't going to keep paying those taxes. But when we got involved in the next conflict, and I believe it was World War II, but I might be wrong. There may have been a war in between that we got washed up in, but I think it was World War II where we decided, okay, we're going to now tax everybody 1%. And they made so much money at it that they said, oh, we're going to keep this around. So as long as there's war, we're going to tax these people. And so since then, there has always been war, and there has always been income taxes. Now, the wild part to me is that 1% is enough. 1% is enough to pay to protect us from other countries. How come we're being charged 20, 30, 40% taxes? This is ridiculous. This is where it gets out of hand. Do whatever you can to not pay. Anything you can do to keep the money yourself. Start an LLC or start a trust or whatever they say, and use that money where you make the money, then you deduct your expenses, then you pay on what's left, if that's even possible. I don't know what you can do. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can advise us all to try to keep the money that you make. I mean, imagine they don't take 30% of your income. Imagine they only take 5% of your income. That frees up 25% of your income. And if time is money, that's 25% of your time that you get back. In a 5-day work week, that's a day and a fifth, right? Is that right? A day and a fifth, or a day and a quarter. It's more than a full day every week that you would get to yourself. if you didn't have the big fat government with their big fat fucking hand stuck in your fucking pocket. It drives me crazy. All right, moving on. CNBC, China targets U.S. services and other areas as it decries meaningless tariff hikes on goods. What it says, the key takeaway was that China announced last week it was done retaliating against U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs, saying any further increases by the U.S. would be a joke and Beijing would ignore them. Now, this is where I'm going to say, actually, I think Trump got this one right. Ever since the tariffs began, China has been saying, it's not going to bother us. We're not going to change. We don't need your goods. We don't need your anything. But they have used the United States to prop up their entire economy. The whole world went into a whole big kerfuffle over the fact that the United States said we're going to start charging tariffs, and it has shaken up the global structure. Will it be for our benefit or will it be for something else? I don't know. That's just a question that will be answered over time. Obviously, I'm always hopeful. I try to keep my eye on the glass being half full. When I was a kid, I bumbled around and just said to myself, yeah, everything is good and we're all doing the right stuff and everyone is ostensibly not evil. But I don't necessarily think that's, I don't know if that's true anymore. Let's move on to Newsweek. Japan, Koshi says Trump has a big progress in a key test for a tariff. One more, just a notch in the belt, saying countries are willing to work a little bit. Trump says big progress, and the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has said the negotiations will be difficult. So more of that, more of the same of that. Oh, this was fun. Scientists find strongest evidence of life on distant planet using the James Webb Telescope. They found molecules that are only released by life forms. So when you breathe, you emit CO2. So they're saying they've found in an atmosphere of a planet called K2-18b detected signs of molecules which on Earth are only produced by simple organisms. Simple organisms were the earlier life forms. But here's the part that's hard to stomach. Is 124 light years away, or 700 trillion miles. I'm not sure if we can actually see that far. I know we've got the Webb telescope, and it's supposed to look across the universe and be able to see all the way across back. And which is funny. They're saying that they can see the edge of the universe, and if time and light are associated and they're able to see past that, I don't know, how is their vision faster than the speed of light? I'm not sure about that. But I thought it was an interesting point of view. They said that they can see back to the beginning of the universe. And my mind blew up because it went, actually, if they can see back to the beginning, that means they can see all the way across time. Because if you start here and here is now, and over here, well, let's do it on the screen, is the beginning, then the mic is in the middle, somewhere in the middle of time. So if I'm seeing from here to here, and I can see all the way across it, that means I'm able to look across every moment in time. And once again, time is linear because no, you can't. That's all I have to say about that is nuh-uh. All right, top stories. I saw they thawed out Biden for another round in the spotlight. What the fuck? Why is he even talking? Why is anyone covering anything that this poor old man is saying? Yeah, they're dismantling the shit that you left behind. That shouldn't come as a great surprise. And also, Man, how is he not dead yet? I just like that they thawed him out. I have a joke that he is proof. I don't know why everybody's so excited about Trump. Biden's proof that Biden is proof that cryo sleep exists, and they freeze him to death, and then every like month or so they wake him up, they send him back out on stage, and then the reason his face looks like that is because he hasn't like thawed out yet. And that's why he loses a little piece of himself every time he goes up or goes back to sleep. I just thought it was funny that he made a reappearance. All right, moving on. U.S. Senator says El Salvador has denied his request to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was a deportee who ended up in the prison there. And this senator from his hometown, Maryland's Senator Chris Van Hollen, says the government of El Salvador has denied his request to visit. I mean, I don't know what that means. Okay, here we go. ABC says Trump said he's eager for Fed Chair Jerome Powell's termination after Powell said some remarks about Trump. And Trump said, yeah, you need to drop interest rates. I mean, it's so clear that there are people in control of everyone else and all of the money. And I think that those people, they should be undergoing constant scrutiny of whether or not the power has gotten to them. I think we need to devise a way to determine what happens in the human brain where your position of responsibility becomes a position of power. I'll bet that there are images I'm sure there's probably some type of MRI imagery in the brain that will show certain activity when you we should do like a litmus test or something where when you're new and you want to fix things and you want to do things that will benefit society, we measure your brain and we see where the activity is occurring. And then we show you like a pile of gold and we say, this is your security. This is your pile of gold. You can have it and you can do anything you want, and see what area of the brain lights up under greed. And then every year or twice a year, anybody in big control should have to undergo the same, like a lie detector test where they say, what are you going to do with this money? And see which side of the brain lights up for that person. Or something like that. I mean, that kind of makes sense, actually. I like that one. Okay, and then we're going to round it out. Here is the tail of the tape. This is what I think is really going on. I think that whenever major news media outlets are really getting you to look at them, and I mean about anything. Lately it's been, the tariffs, all this craziness, the lunacy in the world, Trump's big shakeup. But what I think is happening is miners are tearing up the seafloor for critical metals. Deep sea mining has been illegal. It is banned in many countries, and the mining companies have been pushing to do it because they want to make more money. And the caustic chemicals that will be released into the ocean as a result of this effort potentially, obviously, has some dire negative consequences on life in the ocean. And it's something that we should be watching, and it's very quietly happening as we speak. I mean, 2 days ago as we speak. So, to me, in history, whenever there's cacophony of noise in the news, and they're really trying to make you look at something, that's when our antenna should be up, and we should be looking around to see what they don't want us looking at. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. This has been a quick one. And so you can go ahead and adjust your shorts back down to their normal level. I'm Ray Stone. This is Adjust Your Shorts. You've been kicked in the dick. That's the news. And we'll see you next week. Bye.